Welcome, everybody. So this is our very first episode of TRIpod. This is TRIdigital's podcast. We have actually a special guest, the guy that started TRIdigital, and hence why we're all here. Do you have Giovanni Sangili?
You're welcome.
Yeah, we are welcome. We are. All right, it's actually my brother, Giovanni Sangili. I've known him since he was alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an accurate statement right there.
Since the first day he was born. It's been a rough road. It's been a long road. All right. So actually, no, I love my brother. He's a great guy. We're just going to talk a little bit about that stuff. Today, really, what we're going to do is just give you guys some basic information. I want to give you guys what to expect on the next series of podcasts moving forward, right? So we get a little flavor of kind of who we are at TRIdigital, what we really believe in, some things that are going on at TRIdigital, right? Like really important stuff that's happening, new things that are coming out, right? So that's all stuff that we're going to talk about, but this is not to be like some salesy thing. We're not trying to sell anything. This is really just going to be new. Every week we're going to have new guests on, people that are sharing what they're really, really passionate about. Here at TRIdigital, we have a huge belief that if you're really passionate about something, that if you really, really care about something, you do special things occur, right? So we're going to talk about that. The topic of conversation for today is authenticity, which is a huge part of marketing and just business success in general, right? People always try to find like, what does that really mean? So we'll talk a little bit about that. We got a Halloween recap. Halloween was just yesterday. So we'll talk a little bit about how TRIdigital does Halloween, which was bananas, I guess, is probably the right way to put it, right? So it's a little crazy. And then we're also going to talk about a crazy restaurant experience that my brother and I went to just recently in Chicago called Alinea, right? It was just an unbelievable experience, one of the best restaurants in the country, in the world. We're going to talk about that experience as well. So without further ado, I want everybody to give it up for my brother, Giovanni Sangili.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
So, hey, Giovanni, thanks for joining the podcast today. I know this is something that we've been working a long time to kind of put into play. You've been thinking about this for quite some time. And maybe we can give a little background as to just kind of how we got to this point, right? I mean, who would have thought we're doing a podcast, just from you starting in your garage to us kind of talking now, in Dallas, Texas, right? We're out here in Plano and getting this podcast off the ground, man. What are some of your thoughts?
Well, I have to give the credit to you and the rest of your team during Canvas Day. For those of you that are listening for the first time, Canvas Day is something we do internally where we want to try to capture new innovative ideas from the artists and the creative folks that work here at TRIdigital. So, every quarter what we do is we close down TRIdigital for our clients, but we have pizza and ice cream and all kinds of stuff, and we break up everyone in the company into teams. And the whole point of Canvas Day is to get in a team, come up with an idea, work with the people around you to present your idea in front of everyone in the company, with your best effort that you can come up with in 8 hours. And the goal, from the leadership side is to try to adopt every idea that comes, right? But we make it fun. We have a WWE belt that someone wins if they win Canvas Day. So, I think 2 Canvas Days ago, you came up with the idea of TRIpod, the podcast, and it was during the busiest time of the year for us. So I just go, no. I just said, no, time, resources, dedicated. We got to go and get a sound room and everything for that. Let's focus on something else. But, you kept pushing. I'm glad you did. So this is going to be good because especially now that we're doing a lot of this behind the scenes thing here at TRIdigital and that we're really trying to help people by helping them express themselves authentically, right? Hopefully this podcast is a way to encourage some of that and just give them some of the insight what we do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, that's something we're definitely, it was a fun experience for me and end up coming out here and getting a chance to see how crazy you guys get. What's been the most memorable Canvas Day experience for you? What's been the one that sticks out?
It's hard. Probably the first one, right? Because, Canvas Day was an idea from the book Creativity Inc. For those of you guys that want a great book and understand leadership, business leadership from someone that was a technical mindset, having to have a more creative mindset in order to market the 3D software better. Creativity Inc. is written by the president of Pixar, Ed Catmull, and he has a day called Notes Day, and there's some similarities to that in Canvas Day. Anyway, when we put it together, of course, I just got off of reading the book. I was all excited. I'm like, we're just going to figure it out, right? And you know,
sure.
what was surprising was how competitive everybody got. You know, it was just fun. We thought we were going to come up with some ideas, but people put some serious time into coming up with these crazy, elaborate presentations. And I'll never forget, Adrian's team was called Juan Direction. And they had costumes. They did this whole funny presentation thing, but actually it was a way for them to create documentation so that our clients can fill out so that we can be better prepared whenever we're doing something, a collateral piece or creative, and get it right the first time instead of having multiple revisions. But, you know, I never thought it would last so much. And that kind of set the tone for all Canvas days going forward. People were just, from that point, video production and late nights breaking into the office to go do some crazy stuff. So it's been wild, you know, ever since, man. So I think that one is special to me, of course.
Yeah, that was that's definitely been crazy. There's been rumors that there's a rap video with you and Adrian circling around that it came out of Canvas Day.
Yeah.
And I've been told that there's somebody out there that's asking for a substantial amount of money for that to be released.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that later. But I think that there is definitely some opportunity for that video to be released out there if somebody wants to put the bid high enough to see it. It's basically, let me give you guys a recap because I've seen it. All right, and it's basically Giovanni, my brother, Adrian, and a few other people in the company actually rapping about our HR policies. So that's again, for the right amount of money, we can release that to the internet and let you guys listen in on that. So, but there's been a lot of great stuff out of here. We've done a lot of really crazy stuff going on here at TRIdigital. We got a new office, right? Yeah. That's why we're in this room. That you're
Studio. We're in an office. It's a studio.
It's a studio. That's right. So, give a little background as to this. Kind of what are some of the cool things in the studio that we have now planned out, and kind of where we came from. Right, we're a small kind of. It was a cool office. We were all on top of each other. So what are some of the cool features of this new studio that we're in?
Well, I mean, TRIdigital started in the garage, right? I put laminate wood floors in my garage, and I took one L-shaped desk and made it straight. And then me and Richard shared it, and we were happy. You know, we had the dogs in there and little Chromecast on the giant, super heavy plasma that tore down the wall one day. But, from that standpoint, growing into our first office, of course, when you're starting a business, I mean, TRIdigital is only 3.5 years old. You kind of want to play it safe, right? Because you're paying lease for the first time. So I was like, okay, we'll just start somewhere super small. And we're in the same building. We moved 5 times in the same building, and they try to make a space for us because we had like our requirements were smaller than what they had. They're like, well, we can just Frankenstein one of the offices and give you like a little closet and no sink, no nothing, and I remember we thought we could mix the paint well, considering we're artists, and we had a giant Barney purple wall. That was the only thing of color in that office. But anyway, we kept trying to play it safe, so we had to move a bunch of times. And the laptops we were in before, I thought was going to be our forever home. It was kind of our first time where we'd do the decals and make it big. And we had a little part in designing already kind of an office space. And I really thought we were going to be there for a long time. And again, we outgrew that. And then when I did it, I realized something. We were at the point where we moved, I think we were 30 employees. And unintentionally, I had kind of divided everybody. There was the writers here in one silo out in the open area. And then inside the MOC, which is a play on your word, the NOC, it was our marketing operations center. We had all design and multimedia, and the 6 monitors in there and all that. And then the devs were in one area, like a little room, which was our mood room at the time, that turned into the dev room. And then we had the CXCs and the project managers in the back. Even though we were in one office, it felt like we had 4 individual companies operating in silos, right? Like writing would just send stuff over the way. And even though there's a piece of glass, you can see right through. It's almost like that wall was like a subconscious divider.
Yeah. It's like our team against their team.
Exactly.
F those guys.
Exactly. And well, you could just walk right in there and talk to the guy, And I don't know, like this need for collaboration, the way the structure of the office was, it wasn't encouraging that. And we kind of just did the best we could. And then, of course, when we outgrew it, I said, okay, look, we're doing more and more creative, wild things for people, from building video games to doing the 3D animation stuff. And everybody's an artist, whether you are behind the camera, like the folks are right now recording the video, or whether you're writing, that's a form of art, right? and artists work in a studio. And I like the studio idea because I felt that maybe we could have like a behind the scenes look on how we do everything. A lot of people are like, wow, that was so amazing. How'd you do this animation? How'd you do this great work? Even from competitors, they ask the question all the time. So, I said, why don't we just share it? I don't mind sharing it. We talk about the process and how we work together. And, it takes a lot of brilliant, talented people putting egos aside and really working towards one concept to help bring a client story to life. So when we designed the new office, we had the opportunity with the high ceilings to bring studio lighting in there, make it a really open environment, a bunch of areas where people can walk around the creative bar and the coffee bar, and the various conference rooms, but to move around freely and put everybody together with no walls in between them, so they can move around more. So far, I mean, of course, what they tell me, right? Who knows? People are like, I hate the studio or whatever when they're not talking to me. But I've heard that it helps people feel more creative. I definitely feel more creative. I like that the leadership team is not hidden behind some wooden door where you can't see. Everything's kind of glass and everything's visible. So we're a part of the collaboration too. So between that, the gym and the game room and all the fun shit we have everywhere, I think it's cool, man. I think it's cool. I like
What
it.
are some? I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty dope. But what do you think of, like, what are some of the new, like cool things? You mentioned a game room. I know we have the gym that you've been really excited about.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about those things, right? But those of you that are probably the CEOs and in the process of construction, you know what I'm talking about. You have a vision when you're building something of like how you see it in the end and how you want it to be maxed out, right? But the reality is, when you're moving in and you got expenses and you got payroll, you kind of got to take it step by step, right? So the gym, I'm super excited about it, but it's like a quarter of what I want it to be. The game room, which is called Atlantis. And I'll give you the names of the rooms real quick. Big conference room is Gotham City. Small conference room is Metropolis. The creative bar, the gym is Hyperbolic Time Chamber from Dragon Ball. Then we got Atlantis, which is the game room that needs more games, right? We got a projector screen that's not put up there and everything. But definitely with the superhero vibe and all the cool fun shit and nerdy shit that we all like, I think it'll be cool for people, and I'm glad we're all here, with everybody's hard work, and I couldn't do it without the people that put in the hard work every day. We can kind of keep working and making it even better.
Excellent. There's also been talk about a craft beer bar coming soon, right?
Yeah. So the liquor bar is right at the entrance, inviting people in. And we're kind of, it's funny because like the studio, it's such a weird kind of office environment. It used to belong to the bank. So I don't even know what the proper name is, but there's like these big glass doors that swivel. So the whole thing is like a giant fish tank. Everybody that enters the building is always peeking their head in and seeing what we can do and seeing what we're doing. We have all this crazy shit in the wall, unconventional office, right? But, I wanted to have the liquor bar there. I wanted to encourage people to you're coming in a creative environment. There's people that are here that are working really hard. Some folks stay after hours, which I'm glad that they do, but they don't have to. And come in, have a beer, chill out, do your work, and kind of get that whole, when you go to a bar and you sit and you have a drink with somebody, you kind of open up with them. I want them to have that feeling here because unless they open up, we can never draw what's truly authentic about the person, which means we can't do our best work.
So it's basically just you want people to leave. Just stay here as long as humanly possible.
Yeah. I want them to be so intoxicated they can't drive home.
There we go.
Boom.
24 hours.
And that's a nice way of saying stay here and work and don't drive home under the influence. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, it's a lot of fun here, man. I think that's the cool thing about this place is that a lot of people have a lot of fun. I mean, we do have a good time and we get a lot of work done. People work really hard, so it's good to have a place that people can feel comfortable to, from the game room, do whatever you want to do, just have fun stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean that goes back to kind of like I think the point of this, one of the biggest things that we found here is I'm sure a lot of people would have told you when you were thinking about doing all this stuff, like why do you need a game room? Why do you need to have all this stuff, right? I'm sure you're talking to a lot of other people that are out there, and we get this a lot all the time. Is people talking to us about like, what should I do, right? Like, how should I be? What do clients want me to be? How should like I'm thinking about what's going to make me different in marketing, right? Like if I want to be a different person, or how should I position my company? And I think that's one thing that we kind of come across all the time is that it's not about how do we position your company, or it's not about any of that stuff. It's just who you are, right? I mean, it's the more authentic you really are and the truer you are to yourself, then your clients are going to resonate on that, right? I mean, that's the big thing that we try to emphasize to all of our clients, all of our employees, is when you're trying to be something you're not, it's like holding up a weight. You know, you're holding this weight up and you're struggling. Oh, they're holding weight up, and then eventually, you want to you put the weight down, right? Because it's not you, and you can only hold it up for so long. And at the end of the day, right? And this is just a tip that I'll give to like anybody who's listening out there. And you guys are an IT company and you're trying to figure out like, man, how do I make myself different? How do I, how do I make? And we get this all the time. How do I make myself stand out? Right? Well, think about it. Right? You guys are all selling the same stuff, right? You guys are all basically selling some kind of backup solution, probably Datto or Barracuda and Tronus or whatever.
Veeam, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, Veeam, whatever you guys have. But you guys are all selling the same stuff, right? So when all things you're selling are the same, what's the only differentiator between the whole thing? It's you. It's who you are, right? It's your personality, it's your people, it's your culture, it's how you do stuff, your approach.
It's your philosophy and how you service clients and the process you create, with those technology solutions to perform whatever service better than someone else.
Absolutely, man. It's being authentic to yourself and all that. So that's a big part of it. Is trying not to be somebody you're not. That's one thing I noticed about here is everyone here is pretty cool, man. Everyone's really super into doing their own thing. We have all kinds of different. You should see our Slack channels. They're ridiculous. Yeah, they're ridiculous. If anybody wants to get a glimpse at those, just let us know. Glamps? Did I say glamps?
It's a glimpse.
It's a glimpse. I obviously can't speak today, but that's fine.
Don't edit that out.
We're gonna get through this.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. Authenticity, man.
That's right. Authentically screw up this podcast. Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about just like even Halloween recently, right? We had Halloween over here at the office, and being in an office full of creative people, Halloween goes extra. It goes a little extra crazy. I believe we had a 300-pound Mr. Rogers and his wife dressed up like a closet.
Oh man, that was.
We had what was it? A knight. Was King Arthur? Was that
Arthur? Yeah, it's an authentic knight, real knight.
Arthur. Giovanni had his lovely wife dress him like a fish.
Yep. It's the goldfish from Dr. Seuss.
The goldfish in a bowl, which was hilarious for multiple reasons. Yeah. There was also, there's a bunch of crazy stuff in here, but that's something that, again, I think for anybody listening out there too, man. I've been on the phone with some of you guys this week, and I hear some of you guys like, well, we don't really, it's business time. We don't really mess around with Halloween out there. And I'm just like, you know what, guys, relax, okay? Settle down. Right, it's not the end of the world. Okay, yeah. If one of your clients is going to leave you guys because you're dressed up for Halloween, it's probably not a good client. It's probably not a good client for you guys. Okay, but the whole point of that is you know what? Is even though you're wearing a costume, right, dressed up like Dracula, dressed up like a vampire, doesn't mean you're an actual vampire. Right?
Maybe you want to be a vampire.
Yeah. That doesn't mean you're an actual vampire. It just means that you're just being that's authentically who you want to present yourself and having fun and you're being something different for Halloween. You're wearing this costume, but you're still you. It's an expression of you, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like I think about it. People say it's a costume and it's it's a day for you to not be you. But what if it's like the real you? What if like you're really just gosh, I would love to be Dracula every day, you know? And it's like just one day a year I don't look crazy with the fangs on and stuff, but maybe they want to do it. Maybe they go home and like they sleep in vampire retainers or something.
Whatever, man. If that's you, that's how you like to party, man.
That's cool, man. We can see we get another side of them, man. Especially some of these crazy things. I'm like, what are you? Who are you? They're like, nothing. It's me. I'm like, oh man. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's all that, man. So I think it's cool. I think some people that like dressing up are expressing a way that they wish they could be more often, right?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Absolutely. And Halloween was a ton of fun. I think the winner. We'll show you guys some pictures later if you guys check the website out and their blog.
Adrian and Jasmine were hilarious.
That was
the
Mr.
So Rogers thing. And
300-pound Mr. Rogers. Just jacked. Just a jacked 300-pound Mr. Rogers sitting there. Looks like starting like offensive lineman. It looks hilarious.
It looked like the Incredible Hulk with Mr. Rogers clothing.
His wife though, Jasmine, who's by the way, our director of operations here, and she's one of the principals in the company, is just the most supportive wife I've ever seen. Like he literally got her to wear a closet.
Dude, the year before Adrian was Bob Ross with the fro. And she was the painting.
And she was the painting. Yeah. Guys, we'll show you guys these pictures later. They'll be up on the website.
They're
you guys
super
can check
hilarious.
Them out. They're real good. So another cool thing we actually did recently, we had the opportunity to go to this restaurant called Alinea that happened last week. Yeah. And man, that's something that for me, if you guys know me, I am a huge food nerd. I like nerd out on food. I think about it. I dream about it. It's probably a little unhealthy. Just how much I'm talking about food, right? But Giovanni makes fun of me all the time with it, by the way. But you know what? Because I know that's something Giovanni, he tries to play it low key, but he's also a huge food nerd himself, right? And tell me a little bit about just kind of like, dude, how did we get there? What sparked your interest to want us to do that thing? And, we had the opportunity, obviously, with the client to go down there. We're in Chicago, but, what is it that really that you were looking forward to when you went to Alinea?
What's funny is,
oh, by the way, for you guys that are watching at home on the YouTube, this is actually like the actual dessert that they serve there. This is a crazy thing that happens here, by the way. And we'll get into like the whole Alinea experience, but it's basically talk about being like authentically something different in yourself. And this is just a representation of who they are. This is probably the best meal that I've ever had in my life. And I've been all over the country, eating everywhere, all over the world. And I think this is probably one of the best meals I've ever had, mostly because I think the magic behind this meal, what they created here was absolute brilliant, was magic for sure. And the best part about it, I think the true wizardry behind all this thing, it didn't feel pretentious. It felt so natural and just normal and just like that's a true expression of who they were that it came out and all this stuff. I mean, they basically created a live painting for us here.
Well, the funny thing, about Alinea was I remember, as a company, you try to have a lot of processes, right? So that, you can scale and then you have a foundation for people to work on. And oftentimes people's creativity gets lost in all that process, right? And they think about, well, we just kind of have a standard way of doing it, right? And we're always encouraging them. There are best practices and they are important, but a real challenge to your creativity is how can you be creative despite these best practices, and how can you create something different and memorable? And what struck me about this is if you guys go to Netflix and watch season 2 of Chef's Table, I believe it's episode 2, Alinea, the chef from Alinea has this opening line that he talks about, I have to serve food, I have to make it good, I have to make it edible, as any chef does, right? They have to follow a process. They have to cook you food that you like and that doesn't kill you. So then,
you'd hope so.
Yeah, and then he's stuck with the fact that like, well, okay, how far does this go? Do I have to serve you on a plate? And he doesn't like the fact that he's limited by whatever plate manufacturers come up with. And he's like, I would go to museums and see that I can and see these big art canvases, and I go, why can't I plate on something like that? He goes, well, who cares? Rules, cares about the rules, right? So he still makes you good food, follows really good practices, cooks everything perfectly. Everything is prepared by an expert, but presents it to you in a new and innovative experience that you only get by going to Alinea. And I was just really blown away how they can take such a small space and use misdirection and use their art skill. I mean, they're artists, right? This is culinary art, and create something you'll never forget. I'll never forget that. The top of the food just being amazing.
What was your most memorable thing of the whole meal?
Oh my gosh, it's like being at Disneyland. We were talking about that. It's like, oh, remember the Matterhorn? Remember Splash Mountain? Oh yeah. But gosh, I think that of course their signature dessert at the end with the music and everything. I thought it was insane, and we were very lucky enough that Grant Shantz, the head chef, came right to our table to decorate that because there's a couple other tables around. But I remember, I'm even though I like food, I'm kind of picky when I eat.
I can't believe you ate mushrooms, dude.
Oh, I know.
I saw this guy, by the way, if you guys are at home, I've never seen my brother eat a mushroom in my life. Like, he's always been just weirded out by mushrooms.
Yeah.
And he was like, what is this? This is delicious.
This is magical mushroom.
Yeah, this is how he talks. Not a magical mushroom. We didn't have any of those there.
No. Well, we don't know. Right?
Maybe there was
no
dessert.
I felt real good about this. But no, I mean, just all this. There's one thing I hate in life more than I mean, mushrooms. Yeah, I don't like mushrooms and everything else, but I hate urchin. And I was like, oh man, they had these things called the Asian cannolis and they're made with urchin. And I was like, I'm about to pass out, I'm there in front of the client. I can't be rude. I can't just like do whatever. I'm like, also it's, it's quite the expensive opportunity. So I'm like, I'm going to eat whatever they serve me. So I'm like, I hope I don't pass out, right? I hope I don't make a face. I'm trying to do this whole thing.
I thought you were going to lose it the whole time I was seeing you look at that cannoli, bro. You were staring at a barrel.
It was one of the best tasting things ever. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm a fan of urchin. Give me some more urchin, man. That was out of control.
Dude, I've been trying to tell you, bro. We've come a long way from eating, croquetas and pan con lechon, which is still, by the way, delicious. If
Yeah.
you guys are out there in Miami.
Macaroni and cheese with 6 cheeses.
Oh man,
Yeah.
dude! When we were kids growing up, we have a long history of me cooking for my brother, and the very first thing I ever learned to make for them was macaroni and cheese, and we killed an entire block of cheese that my dad bought from Costco, and we put it into one package of Kraft macaroni and cheese. It was like macaroni swimming in this giant block of cheddar cheese.
It became super solid. Like a macaroni steak.
We were full for macaroni steak. We were full for 4 days, but it was a great meal. So these are actually some pictures from the Halloween
Look
thing.
at Emma.
We have Emma. This is one of our designers, by the way. If you guys like a lot of the cool animations and some of the video production stuff that we're doing, Emma is one of the masters behind the editing and the stuff that we do. So he's a great guy.
X-Gen game, great.
He's building the X-Gen game for us, by the way, which is also coming out soon. There's going to be so much cool stuff coming out. We can't share all of it with you guys, unfortunately. We want to, but I can't. This is actually Marvin dressed as Sharknado. So Marvin was out here dressed as Sharknado, which was amazing.
Marvin's a developer for us.
Marvin's one of our developers. Hey, this is my nephew, my brother's son, Thing 2. He's also affectionately known as Donovan, which is his birth name. Great. This is my brother's a fish and his lovely wife, dressed as the Cat in the Hat. This is really funny, too. She's extremely crafty, super, super duper crafty out there. So this is Ida, one of our old web designers too. She was dressed as a unicorn, I believe. This is her mixing up. I think somebody spiked the punch, but that's just between you and us. All right, and then this is Ricky dressed as a knight. I think he was King Arthur.
That's Ash.
And then Ash is one of our head writers. Ash is an amazing writer, by the way. He actually does a bunch of crazy stuff. I'm going to have him in the podcast soon, just talk about some of the passions and things he writes about, which is amazing. But I can't tell if he's My Chemical Romance or the girl from the Dragon Tattoo. I don't know what's going on here. But
he's a writer, man. Leave him alone.
Oh, and there's me dressed as a Negan, and I don't know.
Taking the bat to my son. It looks like he just beat him.
Yeah.
It looks like my son is Glenn. He just took the first blow, and he picks him up real quick before he kills him.
That's super violent.
Hey, see, look, he's all better now.
That's great. So this is actually, we had a lot of fun during the Halloween party here. And that's actually our newest writer, Emily. She's dressed as a I want to say vampire. I'm going to go with vampire because I don't know what.
She has a wand.
She's got a wand, maybe a witch vampire.
Who knows?
Vampire
Mr.
witch.
Rogers.
And the closet. Mr. Rogers. And the closet. I don't even know. I don't know how I got to do that.
He had a whole skit. For all you, dude, I'm telling you, if you guys want to just come by and hang around the studio on one of the Canvas days, we're going to publish it on the website and watch Adrian do his performances that he does. I mean, this is just...
Yeah, we're going to have Adrian in here one day, by the way,
too. Yeah, you got to have him in here, man.
He's 300 pounds of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but this is all of us here together. Some shots about the inside of the office. And, man, it was just a great time, right? I mean, everybody's in there. We have Jameson and Coke over there starting from the left.
There's a lot of people sick, too.
Yeah, a lot of people, unfortunately, weren't able to make it that day. But it was just great stuff, man. So we had a great time with that. So, guys, I think that's... we're gonna wrap up our first episode of Tripod. This is our first time ever doing a podcast. We want to get better at these. Giovanni, I wanted to tell you, thank you for setting this all up, man. I'm very proud of all of you and the stuff that we've done here. I'm proud of the work that everyone's done to put this whole place together, man. It's been amazing seeing it grow and being a part of it, man. So I love you, bro. You know that you're, I'm just really happy to see this thing do well, man. Excited.
I love you too, man. And by the way, for the guys behind, we got Scott Mitchell and Aaron Griffin behind the camera. They put this whole room together. Yeah. You guys, if you ever become a client of TRIdigital, they'll be part of the team that goes out to take your photo and video and capturing the authentic parts of you. Real quick on the closing stuff on just being authentic, here's the biggest thing I can tell you, for everybody. Every time we meet somebody, they're trying to be somebody else. They're trying to, how do we please everybody? Well, guess what? That's not going to happen, okay? When you try to please everybody, you're probably going to piss off more people than you're trying to please, And remember, your clients are a mirror image of you. You want the best possible clients? Express yourself honestly, okay? Be proud to showcase your office and your real photos and your real team and your real people. Your services are the only thing that can be copied by a competitor, right? But the way you run your company, your style, who your staff is, that's all unique to you. So, if you're the kind of fun advice I can give you, if you're not offending somebody with your marketing, you probably don't have good marketing. be who you are. Let the people that don't like your style, don't like your personality to leave your website and not be clients. Let the other people that want to join you over a beer, over a drink or a coffee, or doesn't mind, the fact that you like, Game of Thrones or that you're a Star Wars geek or whatever else, let that shine through. You're going to find clients that are into what you're into, and you're going to find you're going to close more deals, you're going to get more leads, and you're going to be a lot happier on the service delivery side.
Yeah, that's a great point, guys. Look, if somebody jumps into your website and goes, "This is gross," you're probably on the right track. Right? Now, if everybody's saying this is gross, then you're on the wrong track.
Yeah, on the wrong track.
Yeah. But definitely you want to make sure that, people are going to jump on it, they're going to love it. If people are going to jump on it, they're not going to like it. That's okay. That's how you find the people that really want to work with you guys. So, thank you, Giovanni, again. Thanks to Scott and Aaron to help us put this together. I'm going to leave you guys with, and thank you guys for listening. Anybody out there that's listening to this thing, and all of our clients at TRIdigital, man, none of this could be possible without you guys. We're going to keep getting new guests. We want to keep getting better at this. Anybody who has any suggestions, ideas for podcasts, things we can make this better, feel free to shoot those into us. This is a work in progress. We want to keep doing more of these. So stay tuned for future podcasts. And again, once a week, we're going to put these out there. They're going to be available everywhere for download. Listen to them in your car, listen to everywhere else. So I guess, final thoughts. Hey, just be you, man. Don't be anybody else. There's only one you, and that's the only thing that's different. So be you. Be nice to one another out there in the road, and be nice to one another out there in your offices. All right, and guys, I want to give also one big shout out. If you guys like the music that you're listening to as part of the intro and the outro for this, we have a buddy of mine, Omar El Gamal, who actually used to work for Ingram. He's very familiar with the space, but he's actually a professional world traveling DJ. And he's actually working for Live Nation now. He's traveling all over the place doing this stuff, and he helped us choose some cool tracks. So I'm going to try to pick a different track or maybe some different tunes for some of these podcasts moving forward. But he's the guy behind all this stuff. So check him out on SoundCloud if you want. So Omar El Gamal, and his name's ELGAMAL. So just go ahead and check that out. And guys, I think that's it, man. This is our first podcast. How do you feel, Giovanni? You like it?
I feel good. I'm a little tired, a little confused and exhausted.
That's normal. I've known him for a long time. That's normal. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.